The reading that we have this morning is the only account that we have in the Gospels of Jesus' childhood beyond his infancy. The story that we have bridges the gap between Luke's birth narrative and the beginnings of Jesus' adult ministry, which commences after his baptism. In some senses, what Luke is writing is biographical, and it seeks to demonstrate how Jesus' childhood experience naturally progresses into his adult identity. And there are some parallels here with the childhood story of Samuel and his own experience of God in the temple. The passage makes clear that Jesus grew up in a devout family who observed the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the Passover festival each year. In the reading, Jesus is 12 years old, which means that he's not far from the transition into adulthood as understood in the ancient world. His actions in the reading foreshadow his ministry and demonstrate the relationship that Jesus has with God, his heavenly Father. By remaining in God's house and conversing with the teachers of the law, Jesus is affirming who he is, his primary identity as God's beloved Son. For anyone who is a parent or who has been entrusted with the care or guardianship of a child for any length of time, the sudden panic that accompanies the realization that you do not immediately know where your child might be is a familiar sensation. For Mary and Joseph, the realization that Jesus was not amongst their friends or relatives and the subsequent search that took 3 days in Jerusalem must have been a stressful experience. It is unsurprising that Mary's words to her son on finding him are, "Child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great anxiety." Jesus' reply, "Why were you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" Far from being an incident response, is in fact a genuine question about his identity and location. Jesus possesses a natural authority and a sense of being at home in the temple, which is reflected later in Luke's narrative as well. Jesus is reminding his parents that he is bound to his heavenly Father, and this loyalty goes beyond their expectations. And this becomes an important aspect of Jesus' ministry, as he makes it clear to his own community that he is not bound by their expectations in reaching out to unexpected people in unexpected places. As we read this passage today, there may be a number of points that we can take from it as contemporary disciples of Jesus. One of those points might be Jesus' confident understanding of his identity and his relationship with God, and what that means for his life and purpose. As Christian disciples, it is important for our lives not to be entirely beholden by the expectations of people around us, but rather to be committed to the work and the life of God's kingdom. This involves showing a loving concern to those who are on the margins of our society, and it also involves a commitment to worship, learning, and growth with God that could appear strange or unfashionable to some. As we focus on holy habits in this Christmas season and learning more about the practices of the early church, we are reminded that one of the significant priorities that people have around identity and vocation is who they are and their mission in life. This passage shows the young Jesus affirming his identity and mission, and it also might provide us with some encouragement in affirming our own identities as Christ's disciples and our calling and commitment that we have as followers of Jesus.